Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Simming in Oz, and today we are finally getting down into the dungeons and just getting through all of the underground stuff. It's been a long time coming. I've got the basic layout down, but for the longest time I was just focusing on the top stories and getting them furnished and getting the landscaping down. But finally we are on the last legs, and my god, what legs they are. So the dungeons started out pretty basic. As you can see, this is the first part. So there's actually 4 basement levels to this Hogwarts build. And this first basement level is basically just a continuation of the floor above. It's classrooms, it's prefects' bathrooms, it's history of magic. You've got the kitchens over the other side, you've got the Hufflepuff common room. It's all still very, classic Hogwarts kind of vibes and everything. It's not quite full dungeons yet. And as we go through, I will go down and you'll see the builds just get darker and darker as we move into the dungeons. So right now it's all still beautiful yellow stonework and candlelight, and we're just keeping it really cheerful even though we're still underground. So I didn't have a trophy room in this Hogwarts build, but I did decide to do a trophy hallway. I feel like because people can still walk past it and we can still include that in our little bit of a story. I'm sure somewhere in one of those cases there is a trophy of recommendation or something to Tom Riddle for services to the school. Well done to him, what a gem. And so I just like to think of it that way. Now this little bit that we're working on right now, it's tiny, like it's not that big. So we're starting out in the hallway and then we're moving on to these 2 rooms right here. So this is going to be the prefect's bathroom, which I really wanted to fit in while it was still cheerful Hogwarts and not slap it in the dungeons and see how it goes, because prefects are coming from all walks of the houses, so it's not quite dungeons yet. So it needed to go relatively towards the top of the underground bit, just so we can still get it in that realm of possibility. So we're starting out with a very big prefect's bathroom. I wanted this to be grand. I didn't want some simple little bathroom because I was imagining what I was seeing in the movies, and it's this beautiful massive room. There's a lot of stonework, there's a lot of flowing water, it's got a hot spring, and I really wanted to incorporate that. None of the baths in The Sims 4 were going to be big enough for me, so I'm so glad I have the hot springs. I believe I got this from the Japan pack, I think, and it's so gorgeous and it's nice and square. I really didn't want to have to use the stonework one with the stones on the outside because that was a bit too organic for me. This is nice and structured and it really just fits in with the Hogwarts vibe. So we're putting down stonework, we're playing with levels so it doesn't completely sink into the floor and go down to the next basement level. So we're being smart about it and we're putting down all the nice stonework to sort of really give it a Grecian vibe. Unfortunately, as I go through, I really had ambitions to do like a fountain in the hot spring and have like the water flow down and everything and have it very cohesive. I sort of achieved this, but also not, because you can't really sink anything into the water. No matter how hard I tried, I was using the 0 key and it would just not sink. So it is still a little bit funny looking, but you get the idea of what I was trying to achieve, and that's basically all I can ask for. I did go through and I put in some really useless stained glass windows just to give it a nice effect. We don't want any plainness, just filling the space up. And I go in with some candles, and I think I go in with soap later and some shampoo and conditioner and just make it really nice. If you're a prefect, you are spoiled within this school. I do have my playtester, Vernon Dursley, coming in. I don't know why I chose Vernon to be my playtester. He's the last person you'd ever see in Hogwarts, but he's here and we're making use of him. And he gets to have a nice relaxing soak in our prefect's bathroom. But don't worry, he's got some nasty things coming down the line. This guy went through some stuff while playtesting this castle, so he's going to get his comeuppance eventually. But right now I'm going through and I'm creating these little nooks, because while I had a hot spring, it doesn't actually fix your hygiene, so I needed to do something. So I popped down a really luxurious bath, and some open showers and just went with that. I did toy with the idea of putting down greenery on the outside, but I thought, it's just not looking right. It's a bit too organic for something that's meant to be very classy. So we just went with it, and I think leaving it quite plain was the best bet. Now we are moving on to our History of Magic classroom. I actually had to dig deep and think about what classrooms I wanted to showcase. I feel like I got all the main ones. So, you've got Transfiguration and Charms and Potions and everything, but what are the ones that you don't really hear of too often that aren't in the movies? So I was thinking Muggle Studies, I was thinking History of Magic, I was thinking maybe Dueling Club as well, which we do later on. And so I just wanted to start out with History of Magic here, just because I felt like it needed to still be in the cheerful part of Hogwarts, not down in the dungeons. So we try and prioritize what we can and fit it in appropriately where it actually makes sense. So I sort of had to just go with it. Now, the teacher for this class is Professor Binns. He is a ghost. So I'm putting down lamps that are going to flicker. I like the idea that, his ghostly presence is affecting the room that he's in. It's not a well-maintained room. It's actually quite scattered. It's not massive. And I made sure that, it was appropriately boring. Like, it's full, don't get me wrong, but I can just imagine being down in this room. There's nowhere really interesting to look. There's just certificates and stuff and portraits on the wall. And I do put in a whiteboard, and you can just imagine falling asleep in here, because I just imagine this droning voice of Professor Binns that I have not made, but I will make. I have to do all the ghosts soon, and I'm looking forward to that one, because I'm going to, Moaning Myrtle, and how am I going to do Nearly Headless Nick? I've never thought about that before. Oh well, that's future me's problem. But we're going through and we're doing History of Magic. Now, I think the thing that I was most proud of with this classroom is actually go through and I fill it with cobwebs and I fill it with dust. It is a dusty room. It really fits into the spirit of history class. And also, I like the idea that Professor Binns, he haunts this. Well, he doesn't haunt the classroom, but it's his main base of operations, and his presence is just affecting this room like nothing else. People don't want to come in here. People don't want to be in this room. So it basically gets neglected. It's not maintained. So it's dusty and it's boring and it's perfect, and it's exactly what I was looking for. I didn't want to just make a nice wooden classroom and have it have, it's got personality, but it's not functional, It's like, oh, it's a classroom. Fantastic. No. It's a boring classroom. We love a boring classroom. And look at me. I'm going through with the dust and it just makes it. Chuffed, happy, so glad it worked out. But really, that is it for these two builds. I'm glad I got them out of the way and I was able to fit them in, but they were really nice to make. At this point, I was still thinking that the dungeons were going to be under this. They're not. So that's why I put the portrait of Salazar Slytherin right there, but that will change in the future, don't you worry. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye-bye.